What's going on right now that most people have no idea about? The greater one-horned rhino population in India and Nepal is growing, as highlighted in the State of the Rhino Report, 2023, by the International Rhino Foundation. The collaboration among India, Bhutan, and Nepal, along with strict government protection and management, has led to an increase in their population over the past decade. The greater one-horned rhino population, which once numbered as low as 100 in the early 1900s, has increased to more than 4,014 now. The Ocean Cleanup Initiative has a new system to clean up an area the size of a football field every 5 seconds. The previous one extracted 282,787 kilograms of trash from the Pacific Ocean so far. They're also working on interceptors for rivers that have collected over 840 tons of trash and counting. There's a long way to go, but they have lots of support and they're making amazing progress. Okay, now back to the bad news. There's always cool stuff happening in the science community that doesn't make it to the news but really should. Check out thegoodnewsnetwork.org to see some neat things. Here are a few highlights. 1. A new stem cell injection that halts the progression of multiple sclerosis is in clinical trials. 2. The California redwoods weathered the wildfires better than scientists expected and are recovering very well. 3. The FDA approved a treatment that cures sickle cell disease. 4. A complete Stegosaurus fossil with skin still intact has been unearthed. 5. NASA has developed technology for sending data transmissions much further than radio frequencies, and recently sent their first transmission 10 million miles away. 6. Scientists are going to start experimenting with lab-grown cooking oils, which could help curb a lot of the environmental damage caused by mass soy, corn, and palm oil farming. 7. Scientists have created natural sponges that can soak up nanoplastics. We are experiencing both child and adult literacy crises predating but exacerbated by COVID. User replies. Kids that didn't have very involved parents got destroyed during COVID and teachers were pretty much forced to push them through. Science is kicking cancer's ass. Almost every cancer has had treatments and drug breakthroughs in the last decade, and it keeps improving with more funding and research. Lake Mead water levels are 20+ feet higher than last year. Lake Mead water levels are 20+ feet higher than last year. The war on water resources. It needs to be a big deal, but it ain't. User replies. I remember when some folks down in the American Southwest suggested piping water from the Great Lakes to help maintain population growth, farming in the region. People up north here got really mad about even the suggestion. Seems like only a precursor. I wish people would stop moving to places where big cities are just not practical. User replies. There's no way a deal will happen to send water from the Great Lakes to the Southwest USA, because of a deal between the US and Canadian government to protect the Great Lakes. They are a shared resource by both nations. Astronomer here. We are now putting the final touches on the Rubin Observatory, which will see first light, aka start looking at the sky in a year or so. It is an 8-meter diameter telescope mirror that will image the entire sky every night, visible where it is. It's hard to emphasize what a game changer this will be for astronomy. We will literally catalog all the asteroids, see millions of supernovae a year, map the Milky Way, maybe even learn about what dark matter and dark energy are. Put it this way, if James Webb Telescope is like boring a hole into one tiny spot on a shutter to let light through, this is gonna be like opening an entire window. You already made it halfway through the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe. Let's continue. We're in the middle of a great extinction event, meaning species are going extinct at a rate of up to 10,000 times the normal rate. We're actually making the Earth into a monoculture, which means across the Earth we're planting many of the same crops across vast areas such as the US Midwest and transforming the ecosystem into a place where generalists such as coyotes and deer thrive and specialists at certain ecosystems die off. We've currently transformed 40% of the Earth's landmass into crops and farms. Edit. About 2/3 of the farmland I had stated was farmland was actually pastureland, but I wasn't trying to be misleading, it's still part of the monoculture. The US prairie is virtually non-existent and it was the home of I think like 500 grass species. It's oftentimes the species you don't think about or didn't know existed that go extinct. Your child's classroom is being completely overrun by 1 or 2 problem children and your child is hurting because of it. User replies. 100% can verify this, and will add that there are several factors at play. COVID-related behaviors, parents used unlimited screens to babysit their kids, and the resulting social development stunting added to 2 years of no school routine. School districts fearful of lawsuits, afraid to stand up to sue happy high-income helicopter parents or afraid to be the latest news story and disproportionately suspend and expel poor kids or kids of color. The biggest one, and one you can help with, class sizes have increased at least 30% over the last 20 years. So all the normal interventions you could use with problem children are ineffective, because there's too many kids in the room, not enough time to spend with each individual kid. You can help with this by A. Supporting your local teachers when they bargain, strike because class size is a contract negotiated issue. B. Call your school board and ask what they are doing about using funds to reduce class sizes. C. Support and vote for local legislators who actually know something about education and not the business people who run for school boards and think they know more than teachers because they make more money. For those who use or are considering using Depo-Provera birth control, don't do it. Those of us who were on it for years have developed osteoporosis and degenerative disc disease. Supposedly there is a black box warning, but patients only see the filled injection needle. We never saw the box. And doctors didn't tell us. So I am 46-year-old this year with the degenerative spine of a 70-plus-year-old woman. There is no reversal. Bill in the US Senate to ban major corporations from buying homes. Forgive me if even I missed a detail, hilarious how little coverage it's getting. The snow belt is getting higher and higher each year. I live in Chicago and it was 55 degrees Fahrenheit out on Christmas Day with no substantial snow for the foreseeable future. As a kid we would have had snow for weeks at this point already and my family up in northwest Michigan would be buried in it and none of us have any. Alex Batty, a young boy from Manchester, UK, who disappeared in 2017 in Spain whilst on holiday with his mother and grandfather was found alive a few weeks ago in France, after he'd been walking for 4 days to escape a religious commune and being spotted by a delivery driver in Toulouse. He was returned home just before Christmas. Did I miss anything? Let me know in the comments. Also, make sure to subscribe, it helps out a ton. Until next time.